Hi, I'm Terrence Dick, and this is Views. This is the third of a three-part series on materialism. It's called Wealth. Whenever I talk about contemporary art with people who aren't too familiar with it, I'm inevitably asked how work deemed of little worth merits such an astronomical price tag. In Canada, the classic example of this is Barnett Newman's Voice of Fire, purchased in 1989 by the National Gallery for $1.8 million. If you want to understand the connection between art and money, instead of asking an art critic like me, you might want to read York University economics professor Don Thompson's book, The $12 Million Stuffed Shark. But you don't have to be an economist to know that the aesthetic worth of something doesn't necessarily correspond to its monetary value. And if we're going to talk about money in art, there are more pressing questions than who paid how much. Like, how do you get paid in the first place? This exhibition at General Hardware Gallery in Toronto is the graduation portfolio of Rachel Burns, a grade 12 student at the Etobicoke School of the Arts. The question about what makes Barnett Newman worth millions could also be asked here. What makes this worth anything? The distinctions between unsellable work, commercial work, and the work that shows in public spaces and artist-run centers relies on variables as complex to calculate as geographical location, the character of the gallery, the local housing situation, the artist's personality, the institutional advocates for that artist, and the current trends in making art. Trying to factor in the quality of the work, technically, conceptually, aesthetically, makes theoretical physics look easy. Rachel Burns has also been in the news recently because over $2 million worth of scholarship offers have been thrown her way by art schools across the continent. Sure, big numbers grab the public's attention, but it's worth noting the role that post-secondary education has in establishing an artist's credentials as an art teacher more so than their success as an artist. Still, you have to pay the bills somehow. If Rachel Burns is just beginning her career as a professional artist, Steve Higgins, a sculptor from Halifax who's been making work for decades now, recently had his status downgraded to hobby artist by the Canada Revenue Agency. They rejected his expense claims for a public art piece that was funded by arts councils. The problem seemed to be lack of sales. On the topic of sales, the National Gallery recently caused a financial brouhaha when they tried to sell a Marc Chagall painting for another one by Jacques-Louis David. How much this has to do with the value of art as art versus the value of art as commodity. Not to mention the importance of transparency when public institutions start haggling over national treasures is certainly fodder for further discussion. To bring things full circle, painters like Bradley Wood and Dorian Fitzgerald make wealth and material excess the subject of their work, replicating the world of the 1% that dominates so much of our thinking about art. In the end, it's worth noting that understanding the value of art as a product as well as a practice involves a lot more than just looking at a price tag.